Okay, so I'm going to start from here. So one of the places that you can get help is from the teacher resources. And if you click on there, you also will have access from it within Classkick. And since just for time's sake, I'm not going to be able to go over a lot of how you can use it in each different type of class, I wanted to make sure to show you this little part right here where it says connect with a Classkick teacher. And there's a whole bunch of different teachers in here that are amazing. I'm going to give you a couple names real quick, and I'm going to pull them up. So there's a lady in here named Paige Smith. She is a K2 teacher right here, and she's on Instagram, also on Twitter, and she also is on the Facebook page, and she does a ton of videos all the time to help and whatnot. Within some of the other people, there's another person named Cami Butterfield, who is a 3rd grade teacher that you can find within here too. So she does a lot of training on Classkick and other different platforms, and if you follow her, she has a whole bunch of different suggestions as well. Along with, if you're on the Facebook group, Barry Hoffman is a 6th grade math teacher that he's very, very active on the group and definitely gives lots of advice on how to use things. Okay. Okay, so, oh my gosh, you guys, I am going to apologize for just a second because once again, I need to get my chat back open. Okay. Where's chat? There it is. Okay. Yes, so I think everything is all working now. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different people that are super helpful. Okay, I'm gonna one more time get things rearranged and then we should be here. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the difference between pro and basic, because people a lot of times get pro and the word portfolio confused, and they are totally different concepts. So pro is just basically if you pay for a teacher account, and I'm going to show you what the different features are so that if you want to know what the difference is, that you can kind of know automatically. So if you want to find the list of features, if you're just on the regular Classkick page and you go to Get Pro, it will it'll come up here. People sometimes get confused because if you look at the pricing, the first pricing is for the school. That's not an individual teacher's price. The individual teacher price, you can just click here and it'll tell you whatnot. They have almost the same features, except for when you get towards the bottom of this, you'll see that the main difference is student portfolios. And student portfolios is going to allow students to have all their work in one place. So we're going to today look at what a portfolio would look like. But as far as the actual assignments, their assignments are going to basically look the same. You can use Google Classroom integration because and Clever because those ones are portfolio based. The other thing is folders are a pro feature, and folders help a ton. And this is folders on the teacher side, not on the student side. In a different training, I'll try to talk about how to make folders on the student side, but it has to do with creating more rosters. You can also export grades, export answers, and export student work. Okay, so do we have any questions before I go over anything else? No? Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you guys access an account. And for those of you who are pro users, can I have people who are pro users just comment that if you're pro or if you're gonna be using basic real quick in the chat. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of people that are going to be using Pro and whatnot. Now I'm going to tell you that just because we're using Pro does not mean that your kids will have portfolios. And so I'm about to give instructions, and the directions on Classkick are, there's this one part where the students first create their accounts that is confusing. So I need for everybody to know that very, very clearly, because even when we first log in, if you do not follow the directions completely clearly, you will have the wrong type of account. And I'm going to go over how to protect or how to make sure your first day with Classkick for pro users goes well. But just know that there's this part where I'm going to give you a class code, and I'm going to have you guys create a portfolio assignment. I do not want you to use your school email address or any type of email address. I want you just to create, like, you know, your name and the year or something like that. You don't have to use an email address. But I'm going to give you a code, and we're going to log in. So codes are always used the first time that people log in if they're making their account. A lot of teachers choose not to use codes at all, and so they'll create the students' accounts for them first, but you have to have student information to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a code real quick. Again, I do not want people using their email addresses to make or to log in here. I want you just to create a fake account name. So right here, I'm going to have you go to regular Classkick. Just go to classkick.com, and you're going to put in this code M22KPT. Now, as soon as you type that in, please, please, please stop immediately. Do not type where it says your name. So I'm going to leave this on my screen for just a second before I go there with you so I can show you what it looks like. Yes, if you you can log in on iPads. You can, if you have Pro, you can have it canceled. How do you log off from a teacher account? You just need to just regular log in here. One second, let me get over here, and I'm gonna just go. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here. Yeah, so you have to sign out first if you already are in here. Now, when you press if you press login, you're going to press student, and they're going to enter a class code. Now, as soon as you see that, what do you see? You see a place to put your name, right? Now, if you put your name in here, it is going to create a basic account for you, okay? And so this is a problem, is a lot of you that have Pro, you're going to want your students to have portfolio accounts. And so, but kids, as soon as they see that place to put name, they're going to quickly go ahead and do that. I want you instead to click sign up, and then you're going to put sign up with username and email. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that for sharing it again. So go ahead, you can create whatever username that you want. I would do, and I am going to encourage you to have a pretend account that you kind of use consistently so you can kind of see how the students will view. So you might want to just do something like your last name test and test account or something like that. And you can create whatever length of password that you want. A lot of times if it's just a trial account for me, I just use like a single number. Okay, now for your first name, please just put your first name, and for your last name, just don't put your actual last name, just put whatever that you want. So I'm going to put Kimberly, and I'm going to just put Classkick here. And that's just on this video call to maintain your privacy. Okay, so, so the first thing that you're going to see is this account here. And actually, can I have everybody, when we first get in here, is everybody logged in? Can you tell me yes or no if you're logged in? Nope, not yet, Karen. Okay, I have a whole bunch of yeses. Does anybody need help? Oh, had to download Chrome. Jamie, are you okay? Do you need anything? Larissa, do you need anything? Your internet is slow, okay. Okay, so when after the students, the biggest thing that I would recommend, and I'm going to go over this a lot more later, but I want you to be able to play around with the assignment yet. Yes, you can just watch my screen. I really highly encourage you to create your students' accounts. Okay, because I couldn't create your guys' accounts right now because I didn't want to use your email to create accounts for you. And I didn't have your information really. So I really highly encourage you to create your students' accounts, and we're going to go over that more later. But for now, before we get started, Larissa, did you go to classkick.com and then press login and select student? Do you need the code or anything, Larissa? Okay, I'll do it again. Okay, so you'll go to classkick.com. I'm gonna go on a different one. Now we'll do it here. Okay. Now you're going to press login and student, and you're gonna type the code in. Can somebody remind me what the code is real quick? All right, look back up in the chat. Thank you. M22 KPT. Now, as soon as it comes up and it says name, you do not want to enter your name unless you want it to create a basic account. And every single time, also another thing we'll go over is that the kid has to type their name exactly the same every time. So later on, we're going to talk about locking rosters. So for now, I just want you to put sign up, and you can just fill that out. Okay. So now here you should be on this this assignment, and this is an assignment that I basically stole from another teacher. It's a format that Classkick put out, but she already had a whole bunch of things there. So I'm gonna model for you real quick. Let me make sure I'm in the right. Sorry, I'm gonna go as a teacher and as a student at the same time. So let me make sure I'm in the assignment that you guys are in. Sorry guys, just one second. Okay. Sorry guys, as soon as I get all the way in, we can stay on a single screen. I will not be pausing so much. Okay. Okay, so I see, I'm going to show you what my screen looks like right now and also your screen. So right now I see, you can see on my screen that I can see that Anne and Adar are on the first page. I can see that Ariel has viewed a whole bunch of pages. So where the black box is around the screen, that's the place that the student is currently at. And whatnot. You can also see here on the top, you can see sorry, you can see where the student is and whether or not they've actually viewed a page. So Adar, am I pronouncing your name right? Hopefully. Yes. Okay. Can you go ahead and move over to page 2, please? So there's a little at the very top on your assignment, you should be able to see where it says left or right. And so you can see, so now I can see that you're on page 2. So you can see on my side that it moved as soon as that you moved. If you can go over to another page, please, real quick. Very good. So I always, when I'm first working with students, I make sure very early on that they know that I can see what they're doing in real time. So real quick, what I'm going to have you do is we're going to play around with some of the different features. So we're going to go through kind of page by page of this assignment. I'm not going to take too long. Can I have somebody volunteer that I can look on their screen? Somebody that knows that their name is private. Can somebody tell me what name I could use real quick? Marnie? Is that okay, Marnie? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down and we're gonna get, Marnie, what name did you, or you use did you use Classkick? Okay, so we're gonna all start, let's go ahead and start on page 1 real quick. So you can see, I can see that that is where Marnie is currently at because it's gonna say that they're currently here. So one of the things that you can do on your first Classkick assignment is to have just some of the information. And again, I just took this from somebody else's, so you can put a YouTube link or whatnot. So at first we're gonna just pretend like we're students and we're gonna kind of learn how to use each of the features, okay? So you can, if you press play, you can hear anything that you've put in there. Please make sure, this is very important. For one of the biggest issues that people have when they're using Classkick, so right now currently I'm on page 2, is that if you are going to try to select something, you have to be on the pointer. So like a lot of times people will say like, oh, I can't get the link to play or something. And sometimes it will not work if you're like on a pen. And what you'll see on the kids side is you'll see a whole bunch of dots. If you see a whole bunch of dots, it's because they're on the wrong type of thing. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna go a couple more pages. And this is a good, this assignment right here is a good assignment just to get people used to how to use it. So let's get everybody onto page 5, please. Okay, so I see several people are on page 5. Okay, and we're gonna kind of go one page at a time just to make sure everybody knows how to use something. I'm gonna show you this again later, that I'm going to, instead of viewing all slides on my side, I'm gonna just view one slide at a time so that way I can see. So on this first one, I want you to write your first name in green, and then I want you to see, very good, Ariel, see if you can make it larger and see if you can make your name in a certain color. So see, Colin, you have yours. Colin, can you see if you can make your name, if you can figure out how to make your name larger and smaller? Very good. Emily found that you can actually change even the background. If you want, I can show you. If, does anybody need me to show them the difference between changing the font and the actual background, or are we okay to kind of experiment with it? Because you can change. Why can't you type on the page, Stephanie? Let me see real quick. Okay. And does everybody see how right now that I'm seeing what everybody is typing at the same time? Yeah, so you do need to select the text option here. So you have to select this one. Now, Maria, so I can't show everybody at the same time, but Maria, if I so right now I'm on Maria's page. Maria, if I say hi, can you see that I just typed only on your page? Maria, can you see where I typed hi? Hopefully you can see that. Sorry, it might be, actually there might be more than one Maria, so I might need to be careful. Yep. I'm going to make it maybe a little bit larger. Oh, now you can. Can anybody else see that I typed? Can anybody else see on your actual screen that I typed hi to Maria? You shouldn't be able to see it. It should only be Maria that can see it. So as a teacher, if you are typing on somebody's screen, if you're just typing on their plain screen, it'll only give feedback to that one person. Okay, the toolbar, Barb, if you refresh, hopefully it should come up. Sometimes that solves a problem. You can change the background on the teacher side. So we're going to go into that a little bit later. So at first we're just experimenting with what it is like on the student side, partially because there's some errors that students have that I want you to make sure that you experience on the student side first. Okay, so let's go ahead. So how you get the color behind the name, and again, I'm jumping onto people's screens real quick. So if I were to type something, hi Jenna Lee, so you can see up here, this is the color of the text, and it's annoying sometimes because you actually have to re-highlight it. And then right next to it here is the actual background, which that's super ugly, sorry, Jenna Lee. And then this is if you actually wanted to create a bucket, or sorry, not a bucket, a thing, what do you call it, a border. iPads work slightly different. They don't always have the exact same thing. So Chrome is the one that's the most like the same. Okay, can I go ahead and have everybody go to page 6 and let's start using the pen tool? Yeah, I will. I know the pacing on this is going to be slightly difficult to make sure we get everybody experienced enough. So I'm going to try to speed up a little tiny bit. And let's see. Okay, so go ahead and just draw a shape. All students need to have Chrome. Yeah, that's the one thing. It's the easiest thing. If I were you, especially if you're uncomfortable about this year, just get those kids, make sure that they all have Chrome and try to play around with everything else later. It'll make your life easier. Okay, so you guys can see that you can change the width and everything like that. Is everybody okay here? Any questions? Let's go to page 7. And I'm going to hide, let's see, I'm gonna hide students that haven't started. Okay, so go ahead and try with the microphone. I'm not gonna play anybody's on there, but I want you to try just for a second to record your name. So I'll give us maybe 2 minutes until I start seeing some of those pop up. Very good, I see Adar has it done. Please let me know if you're having any difficulties. Gloria, I see you have it done. Carrie, Kimberly, I see you both have it done. Okay, notice that one of the things that's really excellent about Classkick is that you could use this during Zoom, just like I'm doing right now, and ask students to do what you need them to do, and you can kind of prompt them immediately on what you're seeing. Okay. Is everybody okay here? So actually, I'm going to show you another little feature. So I have a sticker wand, so I just put excellent on Adar's. Oh, I see a whole bunch of you, and I can just give really quick feedback. For example, if you were having somebody draw or whatnot, it's a really quick way to give people feedback and whatnot. Okay, did anybody have difficulty recording? Will the sticker thing be on the advanced Zoom? Oh, you mean we're zoomed super in? Is that what you mean? Generally, actually, I'm going to show you guys something real quick while I'm there. You should see, those of you that I put a sticker on your screen, I'm going to go through and try to put stickers on everybody's screen so you can see something. So does everybody see that there's like a little circle that has a swirl on it on your screen if you have a sticker? I'm going to go ahead and try to do it to everybody real quick so that you can all see this, because sometimes the stickers get in the way of what the student is trying to see. Oh, I saw somebody raise their hand. We're going to go over that again in just a second. Okay, so we'll pause and we'll talk a little bit about stickers and also about raising your hand in the app. Oh, I've been sitting on my foot and my foot just went to sleep. Okay, so does everybody see that there's a circle that has a swirl on it on your screen? If you select on that, if you click on it, it will take off any type of writing or whatnot that you have on there. I will talk about stickers and how to create stickers on the teacher side a little bit later, but I want you just to experience that I can give really, really quick feedback and whatnot, and it'll show up. But again, if the student is like, oh, I can't see, just know that they can turn it off. Yes. The part about the stickers, so I can give people stickers anywhere that I want really quickly. However, especially if I'm going to do, especially if I just use a sticker one, sometimes the sticker gets where the person can't see the writing. And so if you go and where there's a little scroll on their screen, they just have to click on it and then it won't display whatever writing that you have. There is a limit on basic for 20 assignments right now. Now that means 20 assignments total, but you can create an assignment and then delete it, and then create another assignment. I am going to be sharing this recording with you guys, so that's why I did want us to. That's why I did want to make sure that I could record. I cannot move where the student placed something on a page. So that's something for you to know. So with the kids, like we're going to talk about putting pictures in a minute, you want to encourage the students to put the picture in not like lopsided, because you can't go in and maneuver their stuff afterwards. Okay, let's go ahead and go to slide 8. Okay, so let's go ahead. Actually, let's go ahead and skip past that if you want to do that page or not. Again, this assignment is partially just trying to get students to practice different features. Okay, so that's why it's asking them to write in different colors and whatnot. Okay, so now with doing pictures. So there's 2 ways they can do a picture, and it even works like if you have, especially high school students, if you have on their phones and whatnot, you can have, they can take the pictures like that just exactly without having to have the pictures saved. So let's go ahead and we're going to insert a picture, and I want to show, I'm going to actually model this on my little teacher, my one. Can somebody remind me what page I just told you guys to be on real quick? I think it was 9. Okay, also please notice that you can move left or right, but you can also click in the middle and they can just go to select the exact page that they want. So sometimes people don't realize that. So when you're going to take a picture, so they're going to click here, and you can either go from the camera or you can upload from your computer. So I'm going to just take this picture. Right now, when you're looking at this, you see how there's a little thing that looks like the little cross. So with the little cross, you can actually only select a portion of the picture if you want. Okay. So, or you can go back and select all. So again, you can select whatever portion that you want. Then you're going to press next, And you can decide if you want to add another. So if you want to add multiple pictures at the same time, it has to be from the same file, but like, let's say you have, sorry, you can't do them from multiple files, but you can take multiple different portions of the screen at the same time. Does that make sense? Am I being clear on that one? It's so weird to have this quiet. Sorry, no, okay. So let me see. So I'm gonna put this one in, and then I'm gonna try to show you another way real quick. So if I wanted to add another picture, let's just say that I wanted for some reason to include this picture of the flowers, I can actually go and put that in at the same time. So yeah, so iPads are a little bit different, but you can actually, you don't have to do it over and over and over again. Now I can't go get another file from my computer. I can't access a different picture, but I can put multiple different parts of the picture that I want without having to re-upload. So I'm gonna go ahead and press finish, and it's gonna layer them and whatnot. Yes, it is easier if you have multiple, if they're all already saved, but if students are doing work in real time, you know, sometimes it's better for them to go one at a time or whatnot. So either way is good. So you can zoom in or like make it bigger or smaller by dragging in the corner. Google Images, yeah, I think you can, anything that's a picture you can upload. In one of the other trainings, the one on Tuesday, I'm going to talk about some ways to make it even faster. But for now, I just know that anything that's saved as a picture you can do. And you can also do GIF images. So does everybody see this little part here at the top? It looks like just like a little alien thing. That's how you would rotate if you wanted to rotate the picture. Okay. Is there anybody that has questions about how to insert pictures? Let me look here. Again, you can't change anything that the student does on the teacher's side. So you can't crop their stuff anymore. You can't rotate it or anything like that. They have the control on that. You can, for your pictures that you decide to put in, Ariel, yours is awesome. You can do what you would like with that. So notice also, like when you're working with students, if you wanted to show somebody's work, if you just have it where they can see your screen, I can show what other students are doing. So that's a good way to have some interaction, and then that they would still have it after you log in. It says you need to enable access. It should give you a prompt up on the top, Emily, to let you select that it can access your camera. Okay. So I'm going to go one more. Let's go ahead and go one more page over. Okay, manipulatives, please, please, please. This is one of the most frequent mistakes that kids make. So when you go ahead and try to move a manipulative, you have to be on the pointer. So frequently, even this week on the Facebook, Classkick Facebook thing, somebody said, oh, I can't get my, my things to move. Ariel, I want you to actually select, yes, there you go. So Ariel was able to move. You have to be on the pointer. You cannot move things by just being on, let me see, I need to go one more page over here. You cannot move things unless they're on the pointer. So if somebody says it's not working, or even like earlier, there in the Classkick Facebook group, there were people saying that it wasn't working, and they were even sending support tickets. It doesn't need a support ticket, they just need to be on the pointer. Okay. Is everybody able to move theirs on the screen? Has everybody been able to move them? Can I get a yes and no? Yes, yes, I see several people do have them moved. Okay, So again, most important thing, if you have a problem with a student that's saying that, they just need to be demonstrated that. Okay, let's see what else we have real quick. Slide 11. Okay, we don't need to look at that one. I'm going to show you slide 12 just briefly. Okay, this one is something that I would encourage you to do. I did not put, the reason why the side is different is because I made it. It wasn't with the original teacher's assignment. So you're going to go ahead. It was not working. Which one was not working? What was not working, Emily? Okay. Oh yeah, it doesn't work on the way that manipulative work looks different on the teacher side than on the student side. That's why we're going to kind of play on this side. So go ahead and type in some answers here. I highly encourage you, these are called fill in the blanks boxes. So whenever they're there, the student is actually supposed to click in there. So it's supposed to they're supposed to click in there. Students aren't going to realize that. They're going to try to create their own text box. So that's very, very, very important. I would definitely be, if you have a paper or pen, be like kind of noting down some of these common mistakes, because these are the things that you're going to see. And when you put these fill in the blanks things, the great thing about that is that you're going to be able to export them. And for our high school and middle school teachers, I always like to ask them these questions, because we know that sometimes students don't have accurate contact information online. And so this is a way where you can kind of get their contact information earlier, and you can actually export all of this. Anything that's in a fill in the blank, you can export into an Excel document and then just have it there. I'm going to talk about how to actually create these on the teacher part in a couple minutes. So real quick, so dash line, yeah, so if it has a little dash line around it, that's a fill in the blank. So your students are going to need to know that that's when you want them to actually click in using a pointer tool and try to type in there. You'll notice that after you finish typing in there, it turned a solid color. If I were going to put answer keys on, it would either turn green or red if the answers were correct or not. For the EC, I just use the pencil to check. That is valid, right? For the EC. What does EC mean, Jose? Okay, so also one of the things that you can put in here, I see Colin recorded his name. You may want to have an assignment like this where you have kids at first, extracurricular question, yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna have them put like an X or something like that, just so that I can know what type of thing that they, what activity that they're in. I should have given a little bit more clarification. But again, if you export this later in Excel, you'll be able to kind of see and sort everybody's information quickly. So the reason why I put a little spot in there to have them record their names is we all know it's really hard to learn everybody's names at first, and it's can be embarrassing for you and for the kid to have to keep on asking them to do it. But if you have a recording of it, then you can kind of practice it on their own and make sure, you know, it's important for us to call kids the way that their names are actually pronounced. So that kind of gives them that information. And again, later on, I'll show you that we can export. If you have a pro membership, you can export all of this data. Okay. The last thing that I want us to do, because does everybody get kind of an idea for the different feel of this assignment, that you have different things that you can do? Is everybody comfortable with the features so far? Can I get a couple answers, a little bit of response? Thank you guys. It is so freakishly quiet in my apartment that it's strange. I'm used to hearing like choral responses and whatnot. Okay, thank you, or is that Stephanie? Yes, thank you, Stephanie. So I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then I'm going to glance at our notes before I'm going to have you guys log into your Classkick account as a teacher. Now, please make sure you still have all this information, because you can add this pretend student account to your other stuff. So before we go there, I want us to go ahead and practice raising your hand. So on the right part of your screen, there should be a little there should be, my little Zoom controls are in my way. Pop. Okay, there should be a little spot up here that's right next to that swirl. I guess the swirl doesn't have a circle around it anymore. But if you can go ahead and click on it, and then you can put please help or please check. And so go ahead, everybody, please type an option or select one of those options. And I want you to look right now that here on my side, it's going to tell me who needs help and on what page. Does everybody see that? So that means that I can, and even on this screen, I can use my stickers, and I could start giving people some type of feedback using the sticker wand and whatnot. Notice that after I gave the student feedback, their hand went down. So it basically clears and lets me know who I have taken care of. And you can see my count should be going down. Sometimes it is a little bit laggy. It's not always perfect, but it's a quick way for you to kind of see who actually needs help. And it'll tell you however many people need help versus who never needs to check. Okay, right now I have, oh, thank you, Jose, for helping Barb. So the hand is on the top right corner. So right now I have answer keys, or not answer keys, I have, I have student helpers toggled off, right? So there's another thing that's called student helpers, and I'm about to toggle it on. So I want you guys, and here's the thing, the reason why I started with it off is because you should probably start with it off. So please, 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 Classkick defaults to having it on the very first time that you use it. And I don't know that you want all your students jumping on each other's pages unless you've set up, you know, classroom norms for that. So I'm about to turn it on. Real quick, let me go out of here. Get out of the. Okay, so now I'm going to toggle on allow peer helpers. Does everybody see that now when you are in your assignment, now all of a sudden in this little corner here, you see that there's 20 people that need help. I've used both iPad or Chrome. The reason why I'm struggling to navigate right now is because I'm doing both teacher and student and trying to do the training stuff, but usually I actually do run teacher and student on Chrome. Sometimes the iPad crashes if there's too much stuff going on. So that's one thing that I would kind of caution. And that's why with me, for my password, I use just like a single letter just to make it faster. So does everybody see that you can actually click on somebody else's work and then you're going to be transported to their page? Now it's completely anonymous here, right? So when I'm helping this person on their page, I can't tell who this person is, but the person that I'm helping is going to see my name. So the person that's being helped knows who's helping them, but the person that is asking for help is anonymous. But again, yeah, students can see how many hands are raised if you allow peer helpers. They cannot see how many hands are raised if you do not. Because the reason why they can see that is because I'm allowing them to help. Now, if you're on somebody else's page, you can draw on their screen or do whatever you want. So you need to be kind of careful about it. It says running it through Chrome on the iPad works best. Yeah. Yeah, so certain features are a little bit different throughout them. Now, just for when we switch to teach, can you explain peer help? Yes, I can. Real quick, I'm going to show you on the teacher's side again. If I go back, to view all slides, on my side, it's going to tell me who has, yeah, I can chat with them to see what they need help with or whatnot. They can type and whatnot. But you can see if somebody has helped somebody else on your screen, because it'll say that they had somebody help them. There's like this little thing that'll say, like right here. So Heather right now is being helped by LM. So it'll kind of tell you who helped who, but if the person erases what they wrote and it was something that they shouldn't have written, it does not save their work. So just be very careful before you allow students to use that peer helper thing. You just want to have a lot of culture setting on there. Okay. Is everybody comfortable with that? Can they do a voice recording of what they need help? Yep, they can, all of that type of stuff. They have all the same features and whatnot. I'm gonna do one last thing real quick. The slides are, or the help is in order and whatnot. You also, as a teacher, sometimes you're gonna see that this is gonna get huge. And so you're gonna want to clear hands. So if I wanted to, if I thought, like I just can't do anymore and I need to reset for whatever reason, I can just clear everybody's hands that are raised, and it will it'll put all those hands down. It just takes a second. Okay, I'm gonna show you, because I made a mistake, kind of. I'm gonna read Jose and Emily's question real quick. The helper's comments can be removed just the same way with that little swirl thing. The helper can also delete their own comment though. So, so the comments can be removed, and always any comment that is made on a student's page, the student is able to take that swirl off so that they don't see that comment anymore. Who raised their hand for, yeah, I think it's the one that's at the top. Sorry, I should just took everybody's down and whatnot. I was going to add one other thing. So let's say you forgot, and I know somebody asked me about this earlier. What if you forgot that you need like an extra screen? So I'm going to actually add another page. And so I'm going to add another page. I'll show you how to do this in a second, but I do want you guys to see something. Did everybody see on theirs that it should say your teacher added something new? Does everybody's prompt them to do that? Yeah? Okay, and I'm gonna put in another question real quick because I forgot to do this for you guys. And I'm gonna put a fill in the blank box. Sorry, I know this is kind of ugly right now. And I'm gonna do that. So could everybody please go ahead and put the answer in for that? This is on the very, very last page. Yeah. Yes, and I'm not happy, miss. Jose, you give me a problem. Okay, now, so everybody has, their box is green, right? And can you guys actually answer incorrectly? So can people please put a wrong answer in there? Fish, okay. Ariel, we have problems. Okay, now I'm gonna, for a second, nobody can tell if their answer is correct or not, but I am going to toggle something on where I'm gonna show you your grades. Does everybody see now that you have an incorrect answer, that it's going, it puts a red box with a little X in the corner? Okay, now what's important to know is that if the answer keys are not turned on, it's just gonna have a green box, but that's different than now. If go ahead and change your answer. I'm on mute. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Oh, maybe I was just stumbling over myself. Can everybody make sure that you change your answer to a correct number so that you can, or the correct answer so that you can see that it changes? So students are not locked into their answers. So that can be something like if you want them to get immediate feedback, and that's what Classkick is phenomenal about. Notice that they actually have to put in an answer to get some feedback. So, you know, like a lot of times if you give an answer key, kids will just like copy down whatever they see the answer key has. But this actually forces them to put in something. Okay, are we okay? Are we okay there? We cannot save their original answer. It's just always whenever you can lock it. Oh, I'll show you that real quick. I'm gonna lock you guys temporarily. Okay, everybody see now at the bottom of your screen, it's gonna say that the teacher has made it so that you cannot do anything anymore. So I can lock it at any point, but it does not save like intermediate answers or anything like that. It is a really awesome feature. I also want, let me make sure I have my, my stuff. There's a couple other things I wanted to make sure to go over. Also notice that there's a way that students can export their work. And you may not want to tell them this. Let me get into an assignment real quick. Let's see here. Oh, mine must not be on. So does everybody see that when you click on the little user on the top right corner, I don't know why it's not working right this second, but it does have a export to PDF option. The problem with that, or you may not want to tell kids that because then they might be like sharing it, or you may want to like let kids actually export their work, but that's just like another thing to know. So let's go ahead and look really quickly before I go over to the teacher part. I do think we might be going a little over time tonight, so if I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can, but I will stay longer, but just to like let people know in advance, I don't want to go so fast that people can't receive anything. So just at this point, we still have about a half an hour, most likely, for us to go over all the content. It's going to be a little bit longer, so I just want to let people know that right now. Let me see real quick. As a teacher, can you also put multiple correct answers? Yes, you can. Jose, what's not working for you? And Melissa, you got it to work. Melissa, can you tell Jose how you fixed it? Oh, PDF export. Yeah, I'll have to check in with Classkick on why it wasn't working on this specific thing. But again, you may not want to tell students about that. Okay, let's go back to the, maybe it's because it's locked. That may be it. Let me see. Can people do it now that I unlocked it? Does it work now that it's locked? I honestly have never told my kids that they can export it. I just want for you to know, because if you start having massive amounts of cheating, I would like for you guys to make sure that you know what is going on. There's not a way to disable that either. Okay, so evidently it doesn't work when it is locked. I don't know that that will necessarily help you though, because I used to give kids tests on this, but you can't have it locked while they're actually taking a test. Okay, what was the last thing that I was going to say? Okay, so we're going to go back into your portfolio thing. So if you click on the little home thing, it's going to take you to a list of assignments. So this is the benefit of having a pro account, is students are able to have portfolios. So teacher status, if you pay, that's called pro, but just because you have pay for pro doesn't mean that your students have portfolios. So just kind of know that that's different again. But when they have portfolios, they can have access to tons of assignments all in one. Now, I don't want to take a lot of time on this. I'm going to talk about this part a lot on that training on Tuesday about organization, but just know that organization is extremely important. If you want something to stay at the top, I would always put like an underscore. So like I'll do underscore announcements, and that will be the drop place for my students to go every single day. You can also see that if you turn on the answer keys, it'll tell them what their score is. Yeah, the other Zoom meetings I'm also going to record, and I'll make sure to post that all over Twitter and all the other social media things as well. They'll also get a notification that they got feedback. So a lot of times, right, we're not going to be grading students' work exactly in class, although in Classkick it actually is easier. But this way, if they have a portfolio, they can actually see where you've given them feedback, and they can also see their scores. Notice that there's a green dot to the left of the assignment if that student has not opened it before. There's also ways that you can hide assignments. As far as if they're on the top or on the bottom, that may be different. You can also change the order just by clicking on the assignment name, or they can also sort by feedback and whatnot. So this is, you want to have some type of numbering system or some type of organizational system. Or the other thing, because you don't want students' accounts to be so big, the other option is that you can hide assignments that you already finished and you don't want them to have access to. But especially if you want kids to continue having access to their assignments, you want to have a numbering system. And honestly, I would recommend doing something like 001, 002, because you're probably going to get up to in the hundreds. The other option is to do like 01.01, so like unit 1, lesson 1. But you definitely want some type of organizational feature in there. And just for yourself, if you are a pro person, please start using folders immediately, because it's very tedious to try to move them. There's not a way that you can move a block of assignments at the same time. Is everybody okay there? Any questions before we get away from the student part? So can you tell me if you're doing good, say good, and if you have a question, put a question. Good. You cannot currently assign a specific assignment to a specific student unless that student is on their own roster. Classkick is working on this right now to kind of make it so you can do small groups for your SPED students or other kids that need some accommodations. But right now you would just need to have a roster that has that single student's information on. Okay, so basically, well, everybody on that whatever roster, you can assign the assignment per roster. So you can create as many rosters as you want. And even if you look at mine, I have tons of rosters. So here's I have a lot of them, like lots and lots and lots and lots. So you could do it in small groups or something, but it does get a little bit difficult to try to manage observing multiple different classes or groups that have different assignments. And Classkick is working on that. That's just going to be a longer thing. I don't believe that basic limits rosters. You don't clearly understand the difference between portfolio login and the regular one. Okay, so if so a student that has a basic account, they'll get a code for a specific assignment, right? And that takes them to that assignment, and that's it. They can't see any of their other previous work or anything. They can only see that specific assignment. To be able to get to a different assignment, they would need to have the code for that assignment. Whereas a portfolio, you honestly could never give them a code at all. You could just tell them where to go to pick up their assignment name. You can still link them, but again, portfolio allows the students to see all of their work from past. You can organize assignments in folders, but not in rosters. There's actually no folders on the students' side. It looks like there's folders, but those are actually just a roster. Here, real quick, my Zoom controls are in my way for a second. So like on my side, you can see this looks like it's a folder, but it's just a roster. And later, I don't want to go over this today because it's a lot of information. We still have a lot to do. On Tuesday, I'm going to go over how if you wanted to make folders, there's ways around that, but it's not super easy. Is everybody okay for now? So we can do some of the teacher stuff. How many of you are going to be able to stay? If you're able to stay past 7:30, can you just type yes or no just real quick so I can have an idea? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Again, sorry, I didn't want to make it. If you can't, that's fine. I'm going to have this video recorded, but I don't want to just like lose a whole bunch of people. And if everybody needed me to speed up, I would just have to make some choices. Okay, so let's go ahead and log out of what you're in. I can actually send I will send the video to your emails. I'm also going to put them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So I'll try to make sure to the best of my ability that you get them. If not, my email, I'll give you my email address as well in just a couple minutes. So everybody please log out and go ahead and log into your own Classkick Classkick account. And then we're going to practice making the assignments. It's very similar to all of the features that you've used so far. So I'm going to go ahead. Once you are, yes, you can copy my assignments. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of math manipulatives in there and whatnot. That's why I actually had those. I forgot to mention that to you guys. Thank you, Emily. I have the ability to share all of my assignments, and so everything that I have that's not copyrighted, I have shared, and I'm going to show you how to get that at the end. Emily, can you remind me of that at the end real quick? It's also going to be linked to my Classkick page where I showed you, but they linked the wrong. They linked my old account instead of my new one, so I forgot to update you guys on that. Okay, so is everybody, once you are logged in to your own Classkick account, can you please comment done? Yes, please use your own actual account. I didn't want you to have a student account instead of a teacher account, and that's why I had you do that other thing, because I didn't want you to have to email them and ask them to fix it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create an assignment. And yes, and so this is the part that's a little harder for me to check in with you guys because I can't really see your screen. So that's why we played around as a student first. So if you need help at this point, how do you get one? So if you go just to classkick.com. I wish I could be in the same room with you guys. It would make it so much easier. You can just go to teacher, and then you can sign up. Now, if you continue with Google, how many people need to have or work with a co-teacher? How many of you use a co-teacher? Okay, so I have Heather has a co-teacher. Anybody else? A couple of us. Okay, so if you, the way Classkick is trying to improve so that we can share stuff with a co-teacher, but currently what they do is they just create a different password for that person. So so they're going to either ask you to just, or a student teacher generally, they're going to either just ask you to share your current password with them. Now, if you're in a Google sign-in, right, you're not going to share your Google information with other people, right? So in that case, you would just need to, you cannot add teachers to your roster. That's something that Classkick is working on right now. So right now, the only way for you to share, you can share assignments, that's fine. But if you're trying to have another teacher see your students' work, you have to share either your password, or you have to get, if you sign in with Google, you have to ask them to add a secondary password. That's why I encourage you just to create a password that you don't use anywhere else, that you can share it with somebody else. Again, it can be something super, super simple. Okay, so you would just sign up. I'm going to go ahead and log in. You can also see that I'm crazy and I have tons of Classkick accounts here. I encourage you to have a pretend student account. So that one that I had you make earlier, please keep that, and I'll show you how to, yeah, you could use LastPass or whatnot. So I'm going to get into mine real quick. If you want to write down my email address real quick, and I'll put it in the chat while I'm thinking of it. This is the one that I use. Oh, sorry, I just sent it only to one of you. So one of you is gonna get a whole bunch, gonna get it twice. So if you ever need to contact me and don't wanna try to do it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, that's my email address. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and, now when I say we're gonna practice making an assignment right now, I'm going to show you the features. It's not going to necessarily look like a good assignment for now. Is everybody okay with that idea? Okay, so notice first of all that on my side, I instantaneously wanted to create folders. So the way that I organize my stuff in general, I teach Algebra 1, and so these are my units, and my lessons kind of go along with that. These folders that you see right now, the students don't see those. They have no idea what you have in folders, and that's just the way that things are running right now. So just kind of know that just because you see folders doesn't mean that the students see folders. So I'm going to go ahead and create an assignment. So you're going to press plus in the corner, and you can either do create new assignment or create from file. So let's go ahead and create a blank assignment. You cannot add folders within a folder. That's a very popular request, and whatnot. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is it's going to have a name. Please make sure that you have a name attached and whatnot, because it's hard to try to delete them and figure out. It just ends up slowing down a lot. So you can put your assignment name. So I'm going to just call it practice assignment. Okay, and if you want, you can put your subjects. They started doing this more recently, and so a lot of older teachers that have been using it for a while haven't really gotten into the practice because we would have had to go back. Now the access it's going to be set to private originally. If you share it with somebody, it's going to change to public. So I would leave them just on private normally. So if we click on into your assignment, you can now add, and I'm going to switch where I can see you guys a little differently. So I'm not looking to the corner. So you can now do all of the same things that you could do before. So I'm going to talk to you about the things that you did not have on the student. I'm going to talk to you guys about the things that you did not have on the student side. So some of the things that you did not have on the student side is you didn't have this button right here. That's the manipulative button. Okay, so the manipulative button, it's going to work the same, and I'm going to show you real quick. You can select a file, whatever one. I should have put it, this is my new work computer, and I forgot to bring my other files over. So I'm going to make a manipulative out of my face. Great. So you can just select whichever part that you want. You put next. You can even tell it which page to add, and you can even select more than one page if you want on the teacher side. So you can select more than one if you want. So like here, I'm going to do it on all. Now I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to do this, right, et cetera, and so on. So when I go ahead and add that, I'm going to show you real quick. Oops. Yes, you can attach a PDF to make the assignment, and I'll go over that real quick. But notice as soon as I click on this, you see how there's that little symbol in the corner, in the bottom right corner? That tells you that it's a manipulative. I could use that same exact image that I had, right? And I can use the whole image, and you can see that there's not that little symbol in the corner, so that's not a manipulative. You can attach a PDF to the whole entire assignment. You can even import a PDF. And so even at this point right now, if I wanted to, this is going to be ridiculous because the only other document that I have on this computer right now is my teaching contract. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and upload a PDF. So anything that's PDF or a image, you can put in there. Now, if you have something that's like a whole document, notice that notice that it's going to ask you if you want to import all of the pages or just one. So, and let's say if you don't want all the pages, you can just still say, I want all the pages temporarily. And then you would just delete whichever pages that you didn't want. So if I were to do that, this is when I didn't think things through very well, because now you're going to get to see all this stuff. You can say it'll automatically do it towards the end of your assignment, and you'll just see all of this. It'll just insert it like one sheet per page. So I'm going to pause for just a second so I can answer people's questions, but I'm going to get off of my teaching contract real quick. Can you lock an image? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, Karen. Can you add a little bit more detail? Can you attach a Word, Google Docs like a PDF? It has to be PDF. It has to be PDF first. If you come on Tuesday, I'll show you some ways around some of that, so you don't have to do so much extra document stuff, but it does have to be a, yeah, so the students can only move manipulatives. So yes, thank you, Karen. Students can only move manipulatives. They cannot move images or anything else that you put on their screen except for manipulatives. Does that help? Okay, let me show you some. Is there any questions about inserting a PDF or a manipulative, and what's the difference between a PDF and a manipulative? Is everybody okay with what the difference is? Can you tell me yes or no? Okay, pop quiz question. If a student, oh, Stephanie, so the difference between a manipulative and an image is the student is able to move the manipulative. The student is not able to move an image or anything else that you put on there. I'm not 100% sure about importing from Google Drive because I don't try to do that. I think you can, but I don't want to be quoted on that one. So there is that. Yeah, so Adar is saying you can if it's in PDS or PDF. Okay, so we have that part right here. Then you can also, or we didn't even use how you made it a manipulative. Oh, I'll show you real quick. I do want to show real quick again, Stephanie, how to do it, just because this is one of the features that people like a lot. So instead of hitting this button where the camera, you would just hit the one that has the little two squares, and then the steps are the same. And again, the way that you can tell that it is a manipulative after the picture is in there is that it'll have that same symbol that you press to create it. So that's the big thing. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can create a background on your slide. Students can't put backgrounds on their slide, but you can. So if you click on background, it has a whole bunch of different like colors that you can do. And also it has some different templates. So I have some extra ones because you can import templates if you want, again, as a PDF. So, you know, you can just kind of have those backgrounds. One thing to know is that when you're putting in pictures, you can't right now. One of the other things, Classkick is amazing, honestly. They've come so far in 5 or 6 years, but there's still so many things that they're trying to work on. So one of these that they're trying to work on is right now, if you layer something a certain way, there's no way to tell something to go to the back or to go to the bottom. So if it happens to be something that you just want to go to the bottom and you can make it something that's an entire background, this background thing is helpful for that. Okay, is everybody okay here? Yes? Okay, and then lastly, let's look at stickers. So stickers you can add. Stickers are basically the same thing. So to add a new sticker, you can change the image. So when you click on the image, you can choose any other image that you want. Or you can import a custom image. That one could be something from like a PDF file or a PNG. So you are completely welcome to, save your little Bitmoji pictures and whatnot in here. Yes, custom stickers are where it's at. I will also tell you that you can put GIF images in here. So you can have like cute little, all sorts of stuff. Now, please, please, please do not put a ton of GIF images as stickers on all of your kids' assignments because it's going to slow them down. So do it sparingly. Like, I don't want you to start having problems on the speed, especially with their internet. But same thing, you can even insert pictures and whatnot. So within the sticker text, if you want, you can type in whatever you want. You can assign it for, yeah, iPad app is a little bit different. I don't have an iPad at home, and so I don't always remember what it has on there. So you can add text. You can also add points and whatnot, and you can press save, and it'll save it. Now, if you try to put a sticker on, they used to not have this on this screen. You can't put a sticker on your assignment when it's the edited assignment. Okay. Is everybody clear? Is everybody clear there? So right now we're on the edit screen. If you decide, just like earlier, I wanted to add something, you can add another page and whatnot. So that is that portion. I'm going to pause for a second and get some water and look through my thing and make sure that I am okay. Okay, so we went over manipulatives, fill in the blanks, background stickers. Oh, copying slides and moving slides. So if you go, let's everybody go to your main page or back to the other part of your assignment. Is everybody okay with how to get there? Yeah? Okay, so when you're on this page, you can, you can change, actually I'm gonna go backwards. If I'm within here, if I wanna say how many points this assignment or this part of the assignment is worth, I can click on and put up in the right-hand corner how many points that I want that page to be. The other place that you can do that is in this view right here. Okay, so notice that it says 5 points. But notice that I can actually click in here and I could change it to 6. And if I tab over, it should, maybe not, should go to the next one. And you can just change if you're not sure like what you want to do with the points. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do something. I forgot to show you guys fill in the blanks. So is everybody okay that you can change the points within either the inside of the assignment or the outside? There is not a limit of how many pages to be in an assignment. So those of you that want to maximize basic, go crazy, go crazy. You may want to be sparing and whatnot. You can also reorder your slides. You can, if you have a slide, you can just actually physically drag it to a different place. So everybody see that? Or you can duplicate or reorder. Okay. In a couple days or in about a week, they're doing something now where you can copy pages from one assignment to a different assignment, which is super, super awesome. But I don't want to get too confusing with that. But they're about to make it where you can duplicate from one assignment to the other, which is awesome because if one of your coworkers has you know, works on the front part and then the other person works on the back part, you could like merge them later. Or, you know, if somebody has a really good, some of those assignments that you'll see that or mine have like a lot of manipulatives and sorting activities, you may just want to only steal one page of that and then add it to something else. I saw one of you shaking your head like, yes, that we can have long assignments. You can merge a whole bunch of those. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. So you could upload a worksheet or assessment and put fill in the blank boxes for answers. Yes, I'm about to show you that. I'm glad I did not, well, I forgot, but I'm glad I didn't forget for too long. So I'm going to go ahead and add another page to my assignment. Let's get back in there. There's so much stuff, and I honestly am super organized, but there's just so many things to say. So here's how you would do a fill in the blank. And there are a whole bunch of other teachers' assignments. I share all of mine. I have basically the entire Algebra 1 curriculum that I've used, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. Also, that page that I first took you guys to, if you see the different coaches' names, it'll show you their public assignments. So I know some people were saying, well, how can I best use it in kindergarten? I know Catherine was saying that, or world languages, Virginia asked me about that. I don't know how to do all of that stuff, but those coaches do, and you can steal some of their assignments if they have them public. So here's how you do fill in the blank real quickly. So you just create a box. It's going to have those dots that the kids see. And when you do that, you can then, if you want, you can do one of two things. You can either just use it as a box like I did when I asked you those survey questions, where I just want to have a way for you to put the data in and for me to export it, right? You can do that. Or it could be something where you want a correct answer. Now, somebody asked earlier, does it have to have only one correct answer, or can it have multiple correct answers? It can have multiple correct answers. And my math teachers, oh my goodness, some things have multiple correct answers even though it's the same number. So example, -2/5, right? Please don't panic for those of you that do not like math for a second. -2/5 can be written as -2/5, right? It could also be written as -0.4 or -0.4. You would have to put all of those different options in here. It's not smart. It's not seeing if they're equivalent. The spacing matters. The cases, Heather, the cases do not matter. So Jose said 3, 3, and 3, 3, number 3, and then 3 written 3. Those would be different. Yeah, so yeah, and if it says, if you do -4, if the student puts -4 in, that's going to be different if they do -4. It's going to count the -4. Oh. Are you guys there? Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, I put you on airplane mode for a minute and I was about to cry. Can we do multiple choice and have kids drag a word into the blank space? It doesn't register the correct answer on that type of stuff. Oh yeah, there's also this multiple choice thing. I always forget to tell people about that because I don't like it. If it's multiple choice like this, it has to have 5 answers, A, B, C, D, or E. It also is a certain size. And if you click it, the kid won't actually see that it's like E, but this box has to be this big. You cannot make the same thing with like the kids can change their answers if they have grading on that. So if you're going to do multiple choice, it's not a good idea to have answers on. Honestly, even if I give kids a multiple choice thing, I always just give them a box and then just put whatever letter that it is, because then I can make that as small as I want. Where do you set up the questions? You would just write the questions on the actual page. So like earlier when I was an airhead again and forgot to write that question, you know, you would just write the question wherever you want and then just make it sure that it's obvious that that question goes with that answer. But even if it is, even if it is a multiple choice question, I don't like using this thing because you can't change the orientation. Kids get confused that there's A, B, C, D, and E if it was only A, B, C, D. So I don't really use that. Does the fill in the blank need a correct answer ahead of time? No, you can put it in. You can put it in afterwards. Sometimes when I'm really not completely planned well, I will even have it where it has one correct answer, and I will be putting those answers in while they're doing their warm up and whatnot. I will get to sharing with other teachers a little bit later. Lindsay, can you remind me in a couple minutes? You don't want, yeah, you can type the question into the text box. If you have an existing worksheet, you can clip the worksheet. Yeah, you can clip each part and put them in there. So sometimes people will just insert the whole entire PDF, or ideally Classkick works the best if there's one question per page. So it is best if you have a worksheet that you kind of clip it out. Now, for those of you that are trying to save pages, not that an assignment is limited to pages, you may not want to have the student have to go to page 200. So then you might want to not do as much of that. Again, real quick, I want to show you when I'm on here, and this is one thing that always drives me nuts is these boxes are long. Or before I say this, one thing you need to be careful about when you're doing the fill in the blanks is that kids typically will think that their answer is wrong when it doesn't fit in the box. But there's a way, and I forgot to mention it earlier, I'm gonna type a note down. The kid can actually decrease their font on their side. So if a kid is saying it doesn't fit, there's actually a way for them to make it smaller. But just know that if your boxes are small, you may have kids, it doesn't like automatically resize their text. So they may think that they're wrong when they're not. Okay, so within here, if I have it set, so originally if this was not set for any points, notice that if I I can add a point and it'll augment this score to change. You can also copy and paste these things and anything else. Copy and paste in Classkick works the same. So Control C and Control V. So even if you have a picture from somewhere else and you don't want to have to actually go through the whole file way, you can just copy and paste or copy and paste Bitmojis. It's fast and whatnot. But you can also take the fill in the blank thing is a little hard to copy though. So what I would do is, let's say you know that you're going to have several of these fill in the blanks on one page where you want each of them to be 1 point. What you would do then is you would make your little fill in the blank box. And then what I do is I just put in add acceptable answer, but I put nothing in there. And then I set it as 1 point, even though there's nothing in there. And then I will just select this, the box, and then you can press Control Copy and Control V, and it'll copy and paste it over and over and over again. So that way, if you don't want to have to keep on doing things over and over, like having to make each and every box the same size and everything, you can just do it that way. Also, sometimes if I have like, if the words are long or something like that, you know, you can also put the words in and then just delete whatever answers that you have. Okay, Maureen, you have a question. Trouble cutting and pasting because my cursor so. Yeah. Okay. Is there any questions on that, on kind of making an assignment here, or the things that you could use to make an assignment? Okay, one of the things that I'm going to offer later is I'm going to send you guys a survey at the end. And if you wanted to be part of like a group where you can kind of make assignments and kind of practice with another teacher being the student. I'm going to try to set up that for people that want to do that, so you can even practice giving feedback and all of that stuff. Okay, are we okay, or is there any questions? So if you're okay, please say okay. Okay, awesome. You guys are awesome, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go over into rosters real quick. And then we'll go into feedback and grading, and then we'll be done. And I'll stay around also for you guys to ask questions or whatnot. So this last part, it's going to be like a lot of me just modeling it, because you guys don't have work that you can practice with. And so that's where those groups, if you want to be a part of that, could be helpful. Or if anybody has, I can't do it on the fly, but if people have a way that I could try to develop something to support you guys with practicing better, I'm totally open to that. So let me make sure my chat box is still open. Once in a while, it kind of disappears temporarily. Okay, so we're going to talk about rosters. Okay, please, 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 please pay very close attention to this next part, because when people have a struggle with Classkick at the very beginning, it is almost always because their kids get set up for the wrong type of account. So I do recommend creating your own rosters. And I'm going to pause for just 1 second. Okay. Okay, so please make sure that you know how to lock your roster. And I'm going to say this over and over and over again, because otherwise you're going to have kids that are going to have duplicate staff, and it's going to be a mess, and you may think you hate Classkick temporarily because it's not locked. Also, again, I do recommend creating the assignments or creating the roster yourself. So to make a new roster, you're just going to press okay. So let's go ahead. Everybody, please practice how to do this. So go ahead. You can also import from Google. So you don't, those of you that are going to import from Google, it's pretty self-explanatory. Although now that I'm saying that, I don't have my Google account logged to this. I don't have we don't use Google Classroom in my school. So one of my rosters is for assignments. Adar, I don't understand. Can you clarify what you meant there? So if you are a person that uses one of my rosters, no, the roster is just the students, like only who the students are. And then for each assignment, you can add the assignment to how many other rosters that you want. And I'll go and show you that. But I want to make sure we know kind of how to get the rosters in the first place. You can have a student in more than one roster. And that is actually later how you're going to make folders if you want to. If you import from Classroom, are students' accounts automatically created from their Gmail account? Yes, they are. Please, for those of you that are using iPads in your classroom, you want to be careful though, because an iPad can only be logged in to so many different Google accounts. Now I know with COVID, we're probably not going to be sharing stuff, but you just want to be kind of careful with that. But yeah, if you're using Google Classroom, it's going to be a lot easier. If not, you're going to just create accounts. Now, so when you create an account, you say a new roster if you don't want to import from, thank you, Denali. If you don't want to import, you'll just create the new roster. And so I'm going to say pretend roster here. Okay. And then I'm going to add students, and you can add them either as basic or as portfolio. So basic, when a basic student logs in, all they have to do is they have to just type in their name or something like that. And that's how they get in. There's no password protection either. And they can only access one assignment at a time. So if you're going to do that, you can just put a list of names with commas between them. So you can do that. Otherwise, you can add them and you can do portfolio. Now, portfolio, mine is going to act super slow because this is not the account. I have so much training that I do that mine has probably thousands of people on it. So you can create new portfolio accounts, and usually I would import them from CSV. It's very easy to do from Skyward or whatever system that you are, and whatnot. So you'll have them all added, or you can add them manually. The teacher, if it's not a Google one, then the teacher does control the password and you can change it. A lot of times I'll use student ID numbers or something like that, and then and whatnot. So that's how you would start to make your roster. I don't want to do a whole bunch of data on here. Now, when I go back to actually assigning an assignment to a group, so I'm going to go to whatever assignment that I want. I actually have my son do this too. So, for example, if I have this assignment, if I go to assign right up here, I would then press plus and assign the roster. So I can assign it to any of those rosters that I want. So right now it's in that one. I could also do it for this one for another class. I could do as many classes as I want. Now I'm going to have options where if I toggle this one on, it'll let the students see their grades. Now again, you can turn this on and off whenever you want. It's just one of the places where you can give them that option. You can also allow them to get helpers. I have mine toggled off. If you decide that you don't want them to see it anymore, you can hide it or you can lock it. So that's just done. So right now, this elapsed time assignment would be in all of those rosters. Now I can also exit out of those very quickly. Let me see real quick. The lock feature is if you don't want students to be able to change their assignment. So if it's due at a certain time, now probably don't want that to be in the middle of the night because you can't have it like lock at a certain time exactly. You have to do it manually. But another thing I use it for a lot is that if I need to get everybody's attention and they're not paying attention, I'll just lock their assignment so that they can't do anything for a while. And that usually wakes them back up. So it's just really quick. Okay, are we okay that this is where you would assign a roster? So tell me yes if you're okay with the idea of where you would assign a roster, or no if you have questions about that. Okay, so there's two things that you can lock. Stephanie, do you have a question, or are you going to be able to catch up or just catch up from the video later? Is there anything you need me to go over real quick? Okay. So on the so yeah, you can lock an assignment or you can lock a roster. Now I'm going to go back to this rosters tab real quick. Sorry, I'm jumping around a tiny bit. So I'm going to apologize for that. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys the roster that I created for you guys earlier. Yes, Jose, I will email you later. Okay. This is going to be weird for people when they watch it later because you guys never hear anybody else's voice talking, and right now you can see the chat, but later you won't be able to see it. Okay, so if we look at the when you first have your roster done, you're going to be able to see what type of accounts that people have. So here, if they have just a regular, like a portfolio account, you'll see that it doesn't have a box around it. And if they have a basic account, it will have a place where they can kind of like type in there. And I'm going to answer your question, Raziel, in just a second. I want to get through this. One of the things that you will want to do, this is extremely, 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 extremely important if you can take one thing that people will not know and it will get them a bad start. It's this idea. You want to lock your roster once students are all set up, so that way they don't make duplicate accounts. So it's extremely, just as much as you can lock an assignment so that students can't change it, you're going to want to lock this roster. There's two things that you can do. You can lock the roster where it doesn't allow, like, so for example, somebody talked about earlier that when you're doing, the fill in the blank, that negative space 4 is different than -4. Well, same thing with your students. If my name is Kimberly Abdul and I write it Kimberly space Abdul one time and then Kimberly double space Abdul another time, it's going to create it as if they're another person. Again, for portfolio, it doesn't matter as much, but this is the other way. Students often will accidentally create basic accounts for themselves. And so if you lock your roster, it will stop students from being able to create extra accounts. There's also another thing where it's single device login. So if you don't want two students being able to log into the same account at the same time, that gives you some protection from that. So Raziel, I'm gonna read your question real quick. If portfolio accounts can see all assignments, what is the class code for? It is just, yeah. So the class code is just kind of embedded in the way that the logic in Classkick works. So usually when Classkick started a long time ago, there were no portfolio accounts. So it's part of just like the code to be able to access. And when you like share assignments to Google Classroom or whatnot, you can share a link that'll have like part of that code in it. So like if you want to just get a student to a specific assignment really quickly, you would just give them the link for that specific assignment that's linked through that code. But a lot of teachers don't even ever use codes with students. They just use that organization within the student's portfolio to let them know where to do or how to do it. Now, if you want to use Google Classroom or Canvas, I know some of you said that you were using Canvas, you can just put the assignment link in there. But the kids don't really need to know about codes unless you're a basic person, not basic person, have a basic account, then they would need to know about the codes. Okay, yes, I'm not trying to call people on basic, but yeah, I'm not gonna put people on blast. Okay, so that's where we're at as far as for making sure, but again, please, please, please lock your roster once it's set up. Even if you have kids do it, please lock your roster. Almost all the problems when we went, when in our emergency situation back in March, almost every person that was freaking out online had to do with that kids had the wrong type of account or that kids had duplicate accounts. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this training before everybody went back, because I really want to help people, but it's so hard to try to fix things and to calm people down and having students feel like their work was lost. All of that is super, super hard. Okay, so now we're going to look at what we can do when we're going to monitor students' work real quick, and we're almost done. I'll try to go through this next part quickly. I also have a whole bunch of videos. I'm going to send you guys a whole bunch of other information to help you. So I'm going to show you some assignments, and we're going to talk about how you can view their work. Let me see. Actually, I'm just going to go back into your guys's assignment real quick. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you real quick about trying to observe other people's work and trying to give them feedback in some of those settings. So before I was actually showing you guys how you could ask questions, I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can use these things within here. So up here, this is going to tell you how many people have their hands raised up in this corner. So if you go on any assignment that you're on and just go to view work, you'll see it there. You can also You can change whichever roster. So if I had multiple rosters, you can just switch over which one to go to. It's also going to give you the class link. You can also tell it to see all the slides at one time, or if you just want to see slide 1, it'll make it bigger, which is a lot easier for giving feedback. Notice also the sticker wand works within this. The sticker wand works within this view. So this is where you can use the sticker wand really quickly. You can also click in the bottom of these and just put in numbers and tab over if you just want to like quick grade. So this makes grading, hallelujah, so much faster. You know, if you're just like grading for work shown or something that's really easy to see that maybe doesn't have an exact right answer, it is super, super, super fast to be able to grade that way. Are we okay so far? Can I get a yes or no, please? A couple of you. Still have a lot of you here. All right. You can also change the way that it's ordered. You can do students A to Z or by last name. You can also do grades high to low or low to high. That's really great for accountability because it'll then group whichever students are you know, lower up at the front. It's a good way to get kids motivated, not in a shameful way, but it does kind of help with that. So real quick, you can also shrink. So on this screen, you don't have a lot of different options. This one doesn't, well, you do have a lot of options, but the shrink thumbnails doesn't work here. But here, you can hide unstarted thumbnails. So like some of these people, this might have been somebody that misunderstood the directions and then edited out. If I change the filter, it'll just not show them. So that way you don't, thank you, Maria. That way you don't have to see all the different blank things and whatnot. You can also, it has those other settings, those allow peer helpers, show students their grades. And if you don't want the student to see the assignment on their dashboard, for example, you gave them a test and you don't want them to see the test after that testing period went, you can temporarily hide it or you can lock it. You can also hide student names. And what is awesome about that is that if I want the privacy of showing students' work, but I don't want people to know who is who, I can just show, I can just hide their names, and then, you know, even when I click on it, it's not going to tell the students whose work is who. You can, if you want to go back to seeing all the slides, I'm going to go up here to all slides. This is another way where you could kind of show for like accountability's sake, like where everybody's at without having to have too much information there. The last thing that you can do is you can on this screen, when you have all, you can shrink the thumbnails so that they're very small. If you know who Barry Hoffman is, he's a major, he posts a lot on the Facebook group. You'll see that he likes to have this display because it'll show you, if you have points on each page, it'll show you how many points everybody has, and it's a really good thing for data because you'll see like this nice red and green or orange stuff there. Okay, so that is like a huge amount of information. I probably should have just automatically said 2 or 3 hours or something like that because it's so much information. Sorry that there would that I kind of got messed up in little parts, but let's go ahead and start answering just questions, or if you guys need help with something specifically. At this point, I don't really have anything huge to share except for I will make sure that this video gets out to you guys, and I will share every resource that I have. So if you want to kind of head off, I already made sure that everybody has my email address, and then from now on I'm just going to answer the questions that people have. I'm going to send you guys out a survey as well as a thing where if you want to find, like, I'm going to ask for like a group of people that if you want to communicate with each other so you can practice being like teacher and student, that we can kind of work on that. Yes, thank you, Dana. I'm going to start asking, I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions. If I don't see your comment, Raziel, I totally agree with you. I think it's better than everything else that's out there, honestly. And I have been looking for something like Classkick for a long time. And so, and I went through a lot of other things, Nearpod, Formative, not to talk too much smack. They're great programs, but Classkick is super easy on things. So I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions in the order that I saw. I do project things on the projector, or like in Zoom, you can share it with your class. I actually have some pretty creative things that I do with it too. Again, this was mainly for new teachers, but I have like videos of me, like even I could write on the notes on the top of the page, and all the students would be able to see the notes from all around the room. There's a ton of stuff that you can do with that. If you're interested in like more creative ways to use it in real time, the Tuesday session, I'm gonna talk about that a lot. Let me go ahead and go down a little bit. Thank you, Dana. I am going to send the recording through email. And do students have view access to their peers' work the way the teacher can see the students? No. The only time that a student would have access to another person's work is when that one student raises their hand and asks for help, but then the student only has access to that one page. So that's how that works. And let's see. Awesome, Gloria. I'm glad that you feel more confident. Is there anybody else that has any questions? Good, thank you, Raziel. All right, well, I really hope that you guys have a great rest of your night. If there is anything that you need, I am super active on the Facebook group. I'm gonna try to be more active on Twitter, and I am possibly venturing into Instagram. All right, so I'll stay for a couple minutes until I see the numbers go down, just in case there's people that need to ask something that wanted to wait. And if not, I hope you guys have a great start of the year. If you are panicked, or if you have a moment and you need somebody to contact, please contact me. This program will really super help you. And if you have a hiccup, I can help you get out of it, and just know it's going to be okay. I know this year is going to be hard, but it's going to be a good year.